Good evening, everybody. So, forewarning, right off the bat, forewarning, uh, this rocket launch, this Starlink rocket launch, SpaceX rocket launch, isn't going to take off or scheduled for liftoff until 11:25 Central Time. So, I'm going to have here in a second a little countdown timer. So, if you're watching this at a later time, because I'm going to make this into a video, if you're watching this at a later time, you can fast forward if you just want to see the rocket launch. But I'm on here early because I want to rant. I want to discuss something from yesterday, namely the Blue Origin live stream from yesterday, NS28. So without further ado, I'm going to get into that. So this may sound crazy, but even being a rocket guy, I have never tuned in to a single New Shepard launch. Not for lack of, not for, hating Blue Origin or anything like that. I know a lot of people bash them, SpaceX people and so on and so forth, the dude bros and everything, but it's not for that reason. I just haven't. It just hasn't come up. I just haven't tuned into one. There hasn't been anything that I've been super excited about. And if I was excited about it, I was doing something else and couldn't. So yesterday, they had NS28. So New Shepard mission number 28. Emily Calandrelli, who I think the world of, was on this one. And of course, I'm streaming, have been for 2 months now, streaming rocket launches. By God, I'm going to tune in and watch. And the stream that I saw was, for lack of a better term, really frustrating on a lot of different levels. It seemed very amateur. And I'm going to go through some of those things now. But I want to be upfront and clear that my criticism is not about the rocket. It's not about their progress. It's not about New Glenn. It's not about any of those things. It is solely based on their live stream, their production that they were putting out. So I started pulling the feed that I was going to pull. I guess before I do that, just a little bit of explanation. So how we live stream these rocket launches. First thing we have to find is a feed. It may be on YouTube from the rocket company. I will only live stream feeds directly from the company. I do not take from other people's streams. If I can get a feed from the rocket company, then that's what I'll live stream. If I can't get that, then I don't do it. But it starts off with trying to find a feed. So it may be from the rocket company's YouTube channel. It may be from their website. It may be from X. I've gone as far as to going to the Russian Roscosmos site in Russian and dig out their Russian live coverage and stream that. So yesterday when I decided to stream this NS28, I went to the YouTube channel, Blue Origin's YouTube channel, pulled that up, got ready for the feed, started my live stream, waited for Blue Origin to go live. Let me flip this over real quick. I just do a little something. I need to turn that background off. Yeah, this is something I'll have to cut out. So I went to the Blue Origin YouTube feed, which is where 99% of people are going to watch this, to get this feed. They're not going to go to X. They're not going to go to the website. They're going to go to YouTube. It's the simplest. It was the first place I went. In hindsight, since I'm streaming it, I probably should have gone to their website, because I think some of these places will stream it from their website, but it's actually their YouTube feed that they've just embedded. But I think Blue Origins was direct on the website. Should have gone there, but it's just easy option. Hindsight 2020. I went to their YouTube channel, and so the stream starts up, and this is the first thing that I see.
Oceans to map new lands.
I see
Sought out the unknown.
the feed that I'm getting is at about 2 frames a second, and the audio is that of a potato. So instantly I start freaking out, because the first thing I think is, what's wrong with my system? Have I got an issue? Is something wrong with my internet? I check my internet connection. Internet connection is golden. Check the system, my how my performance is doing. Everything's golden. So I take out my phone, and I go to on my phone. I go to Blue Origin's feed on YouTube. Basically the same feed that I'm pulling on the computer, but I do it on my phone, so it's separate. And sure enough, it's at 2 frames a second. So I ended up real quick, kind of a quick, I don't want to say fix, but just to let everybody know while I try to sort this issue out or find another feed, I end up putting this little message on the bottom of the stream. And I'm just like, and I put on there as usual because I've tried to pull video from their streams after they've been streamed, just recorded, and the couple of times I've had nothing but pops and audio hisses and glitches and all this other stuff. So I already knew ahead of time a little bit, hey, this might not be the best stream, but go and look at their YouTube chat. And of course, everybody's having the same issue. And somebody says, hey, go to X. It's got a clean feed. So that's what I did. I ended up going to X, pulling the feed, and it was clean for the most part. Didn't have the frame rate issues or anything else. So sat back, started watching the stream. And what I saw was basically 30 minutes of pre-roll, meaning in the can, pre-recorded explanations of who the people on the flight are going to be, kind of their backgrounds and everything else. And as time ticked down, 20 minutes, basically the only shots of the rocket that we got were just like this. Some up close shots, but it was basically this one static looking off. And again, we go through each of the people and everything as time ticking down. And I'm sitting here thinking, when are they going to switch to the cameras inside the capsule? Because that's what I was excited about. You've got six quote unquote ordinary. I mean, these people weren't pulled from an assembly line at GM. I mean, they're public figures, but for lack of a better term, ordinary. You've got these ordinary people who are strapped into a capsule, who are about to have a rocket lit under their butt. I want to see the excitement and the tension and the nervousness and the trepidation and all of that. I want to see that kind of drama. I don't want just a shot of the rocket from a long ways off, and I don't want to just see a bunch of canned pre-roll. That's the excitement of the whole thing, is these regular people going above the Kármán line. We want to see those things. We want to see the looks on their faces and how excited they are and kind of the drama. I get not wanting a live feed during the actual launch, just in case, hopefully not, but just in case something bad happens, just in case something goes wrong. But for the lead up to the launch, the space shuttle used to show internal shots of the crew during their lead up to launch. So, and those were astronauts. Those were trained astronauts. The same for SpaceX. When Crew Dragon, you get to see well in advance. You get to see the astronauts in there punching the screens and doing everything else. If it's thought that we should do that for trained, seasoned astronauts, why in the world wouldn't you do that for regular people? Those are the people you really want to see. I mean, a trained astronaut, somebody who's been through test pilots and things like that, they're just going to sit there. They're going to go through their checklists, and they're not going to have, a whole bunch of emotion about it. But when you have these regular people, and that's your big selling point on this New Shepard, is sending up regular people, when you have them strapped to a rocket, why in the world would you not want to show them before the launch live? Who wouldn't want to tune into that? I mean, that's all part of the drama and everything else. But instead, check my time codes here. I typed out a couple notes. So 3120, let's see. Instead of having those dramatic shots and kind of that human element, what we got was this. 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 3.5 minutes to launch. And we just got static shots from the outside. You know, this isn't exciting. This isn't exciting as it could be. I should say that. If you want the public to get excited about what you're doing, it's hard for that to happen when you have coverage like this that is just kind of canned and not showing the human element. I don't understand why you wouldn't have 3 or 4 cameras inside that capsule in the lead up to launch. Can you imagine the drama? So we went through that. We launched. The entire stream, even after I got a clean feed from X, still was at a pretty low bit rate. And on top of it being a low bit rate, there were tons of audio issues. There were popping and hissing and all kinds of stuff. But we launch, they go through the launch and everything, and they decide after the capsule lands that in order to kill time while they get a crew out there to open the capsule and all that fun stuff, that they're going to bring in Carson Kitchen, who is the youngest person to cross the Kármán line. So at 46 minutes, they bring her in, and I'm assuming they are bringing her in on like a Zoom call. Let's see. So they decide to bring her in. They're going to bring her in on a Zoom call. She's got the little iPhone headphones, wireless headphones in, and well, I'm just going to let you hear it.
Hi, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for having me. This is just so exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little emotional watching this thing launch.
That right there, and I'm going to play it again because that was a little low. That right there from that phone, that is the best audio. That is the best that phone call got. You cannot make out. Every third word is dropped out. Listen again.
Our former New Shepard astronauts, someone who has experienced that very flight profile firsthand, Carson Kitchen, the youngest woman astronaut to cross the Kármán line. Let's patch in Carson.
Hi, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for having me. This is just so exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little emotional watching this thing launch.
So the entire time they have her on, it is very poor audio quality. We are well aware in this day and age that those little headphones and on Zoom is very poor audio quality and a lot of dropouts and so on and so forth. But, okay, so here's my deal. This little lav mic, wireless lav mic that plugs into a USB port is $14 on Amazon. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. Send her a lav mic a week in advance and let her clip it on and plug it into her laptop, and you've got grade A audio. Nothing will kill a viewer's interest faster than poor audio. I'm telling you, your video quality can be crap, but if the if the audio is good, you're still good. But if you can have 4K, if the audio sucks, nobody's going to watch it. And so what we had to do is sit through this interview where it was just a garbled mess. And the poor girl, I know she had good information to share. She was very enthusiastic. But instead, we got to sit through this garbled mess of an interview. And it was just frustrating because we started off with the frame rate issues. We've watched this with a bunch of canned pre-roll instead of seeing the actual astronauts inside. And now, while we're waiting for the capsule to be open, we have to sit through a just garbled mess, audio-wise, of an interview. And it just looked horrible. So the interview continues. As you make it out as best as you can. And the host, God love her, they had 2 hosts. They were both excellent. They were great hosts. They did the best with what they had. But at one point, the host who is interviewing Miss Kitchen gets something down the wrong pipe. She chokes on something. She gets something on her windpipe and starts to cough and everything else, and is having trouble communicating. So I'm going to fast forward to that point right now. 49:15. All right, so let's watch this.
Obviously, each person is responsible for playing their part, but we're also responsible for looking out with one another. And training
So
is
she
about
gets some
preparing
water
for
because she
mission
can feel
success,
that,
but
something's a little rough in her throat.
Well, I hope to someday go through that astronaut training experience. Now, we often hear that crews on New Shepard become very tight-knit. Can you tell us I'm so sorry, coughing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so since we do work on...
Look, that happens. It is not her fault. It happens to everybody. I've been given talks in front of 100 employees or something like that. You get a frog in your throat, you deal with it the best you can. My gripe and my complaint and my rant is with what happens next. Okay. So she's still on camera. She has managed to, even with this thing in her throat, she's managed to hack her way into the pass off, where you're passing it off to the guest. And now while the guest is answering a question, that's her little bit of time to clear her throat, get her stuff together and everything else. And she does. She hits the mic kill.
We all have this,
and she's corking up a lung on the side. And the director finally cuts to a live shot. So when you're the director, you have to have some wherewithal and know what is going on. As soon as she started to have problems, they had a co-host. The co-host, there should have been plans in place ahead of time of the co-host to jump in, save her butt, let her get her stuff together, and move on. And instead, the director just kind of keeps her on there, even after she answers her or asks her question and passes it off to the guest. He still, or he or she, whoever the director is, still keeps them on camera while she's trying to gather herself for another 5 or 6 seconds. It just looks unprofessional. And I know that can sound like I am nitpicking. I get it. It can sound, it is a nitpicky thing, but when you combine it with all the other things that we saw on this, it adds together to where you have a stream that is just, it's amateur. Look, my streams look amateur all the time. I'm one guy. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. So they already, Blue Origin, they already have an issue with kind of playing catch up. They are dogged in the media by a lot of people, or social media at least, by a lot of people, because they have not had anything orbital yet. They haven't, they've got this little rocket that just goes above the Kármán line and falls right back down. They've had all these detractors who have all these things to say. An excellent way to get ahead of that and on top of that is to have a live stream that is professionally produced and professionally run and solid from top to bottom. This is not it. And I know I'm not alone, because on Twitter yesterday, I saw a lot of comments of people saying, hey, what's up with the stream? The stream's kind of crap. The audio sucks, the frame rate issues, and what's up with this and what's up with this. So I know I'm not alone. It's just, as somebody who's taking this and then also presenting it on my channel, it's just frustrating on another level, because whoever's watching it, and I had just a few people, but the people that are watching it on my stream are immediately wondering, hey, is this my problem? Am I the one causing all these issues? And I wasn't, but I'm just doing the best with what I have. So I hope, it's 28 missions in. If they haven't figured it out yet, I don't know that they're going to make any changes, but if nothing else, I would, and God, they're not going to see this, but if someone was to see this, if magically I was to get a phone call tomorrow and somebody was going to say, hey, what can we do to be better, Mr. Nobody? If nothing else, by God, put a freaking camera in the capsule leading up to launch. Cut it off. Don't go to it 20 seconds before launch if you're worried about something going wrong or, anything like that. I'm sure this is all delayed anyway, but by God, for the last 10 minutes, I want to see shots of them, at minimum the last 10 minutes. I want to see shots of them in the capsule. I want to see shots of them just with the tension and the excitement and the nervousness and everything else, because that's what it's all about, right? You're advertising, sending regular people. How would regular people react going above the Kármán line, going into space? It's such a missed opportunity right now. And I wasn't the only one, because there were a lot of people in chat saying the exact same thing. And then if you don't want to advertise them, or if you don't want to have video of them on while the rocket's live, basically while they're shooting up into space, for safety concerns. If you don't want, then as soon as they hit the 0G, as soon as they separate from the stage, they no longer have rocket motors below them. The risk drops significantly. That would be the time to flip back over those cameras and let's watch them unbuckle and experience 0G for the first time. They video those things, but they don't show it until days afterward. And by then, the excitement's gone. The launch is over. You're just catching these things afterwards. No, do it during the live stream. Let's see them unbuckle their belts and experience 0G for the first time and float around and look out the window and see the vast blackness of space and how small we are. Look down at the planet and see that there are no property lines, there's no state lines, there's no country lines or anything like that. Let's see all that emotion and everything else in the live stream. You want people to tune in, that'll get people to tune in. But this, where we're just getting some static shots of the outside of the rocket going up and coming back down, prefaced by, some canned footage of who the people are, it's not going to draw people in. And right now, in my opinion, Blue Origin needs people drawn in. They need people excited about what they're doing, because SpaceX is kicking their butt when it comes to that. SpaceX is over there. It has the whole control room cheering and has, Lord knows, catching boosters and doing everything else. And, if you're Blue Origin and you're trying to get ahead of that and you're tired of being the laughingstock and tired of being told you're shooting a penis off into space, you need people to tune into these streams. And that drama, the inside the capsule, that's where people, that's how to get people in. So that's my rant. And I obviously planned it way too early. We've still got 19 minutes, so we'll just find something else to talk about. Let's see here. So anyway, that's New Glenn got, let me see if I can pull something up here. New Glenn went vertical, which is awesome. They still don't have a net. Let's see. Let me do a search here. They still haven't put out a net date for, yeah, there we are. So they tweeted this on the 21st, so a couple days ago, and that they had gone vertical with the rocket, which is great. That means it's at 39A, I think. I may be wrong on that. I may have to look, but that right off the bat is, get my ugly mug down here to the corner. I mean, that's progress, right? We still don't have, I've looked through logs and everything, we still don't have a net, even time frame for when this will launch. But they've taken so long to get their engines in order and get this rocket built. We have gotten to see the difference between rapid iteration, which is what SpaceX is doing, and then Blue Origin's normal, quote unquote, normal style of designing and building a rocket. I'm interested. I wish they would put out some kind of net like December or something like that. If it's on the pad and it's stood up, I got to believe it's going to be like in the next 4 weeks that we're going to see a launch, but we still haven't seen anything come from them as far as when a launch date or anything like that. So let's go over here and check. All right, we got about 17 minutes till launch, so we got about 12 minutes before the live stream. So we'll pull up Mr. SpaceX. I already have that up. I think this one will be different too, because I think I'm going to just stay on camera while during this rocket launch. I normally don't do that. I normally try to do just a clean stream, but it's Saturday night. Why not? My rant didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, so now I've got a little bit of time to burn up. So let's see here. SpaceX has not been making it easy to pull their feeds. And they still don't have this one up on their website. Great. Let's go look at the launch information. Still set for 11:25 CST Central. And it is 11:09 right now. So we've got about 10 minutes, 11 minutes until their stream supposedly starts. So we hated that, we had flight test 6 last week. I hated that we didn't get to see a booster catch. And everybody was like, oh, it's, people are disappointed, and it was still cool. I was disappointed about not seeing a booster catch. I was just hoping to see one. It was surprising a little bit. I think everybody was surprised that it was the launch tower or the catch tower, both launch and catch tower, that had an anomaly and kept us from catching a booster as opposed to the booster itself. We often think about the booster having so many systems and so many issues, things that can go wrong that all have to be true before it can be ordered back for the catch, and kind of forget that a lot of those, the tower itself has a lot of systems on it too. And it's like I said, at the time, I don't believe they haven't put anything out about exactly what happened, but look, during liftoff, that thing has got 1,000 different points of IO on it, that all have to come back true. And it could have been just a proximity switch or just something dinky that got knocked out of alignment that caused it to fail to the Gulf. Hopefully, I'm hoping they will put something out, but that's kind of proprietary and kind of up to them. Everybody's hyped up about Flight Test 7, and it's going to be Block 2, and everybody's trying to guess when we're going to see that. The FAA just recently basically gave SpaceX the go-ahead for more launches instead of what did they have, 5 a year? I think they upped it to 20 or 25. I wonder how much of that is in, I don't want to say fear, but Elon's got his new position in government, and I guarantee the first place he's headed is to gut the FAA. So I wonder if that had anything to do with it. I don't know, but it's pretty interesting, kind of how that has all unfolded. They announced Flight Test 6 the day after the election, and that was not by coincidence. I promise you, that was not by coincidence. That was definitely planned. And then here now the FAA is saying, you know what, SpaceX, you launch all you want. Yeah, take out. Yeah, you go do what you got to do. I wonder how much of the political climate plays into that. Of course, there's still this doesn't allow them to just fly any flight profile they want. So there's still, if they want to go orbital and do some other things, there will still be an investigation. But it's certainly interesting on the timing. And Elon tweeted that they're going to try one more water, or they're going to have one more water landing with the ship, and then they're going to try to catch it. So will that be the case? Well, it's very possible that that is just Elon speak. We don't see any catch hardware on any of the Block 2. That's still all got to be figured out. So, yeah, it could very well be Elon just doing Elon and talking out of his ass, basically. But it's also possible that in the next 3 months or so, we could see a booster catch and ship catch on the same tower the same day. I've talked to a couple people about that, and I'm like, if they decide to do a ship catch, are they just going to divert the booster to the Gulf so they can just concentrate on the ship catch? And from the people I've talked to who are kind of knowledgeable, they've been split. They say, well, they might go for full effect and do both, where they catch a booster, move it out of the way, let the ship orbit a couple of times, and then bring it in and catch it. Or the other half's like, no, they just want to concentrate on that ship catch, so they'll send it up, let it orbit a couple of times, then bring it right back and try to catch it. The way SpaceX is, the way Elon is, the way they enjoy wowing the world, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if they did a booster catch, especially if Flight 7 is good. Flight 7, if it's going by what Elon says, Flight 7, we should see a simulated ship catch in the Gulf. We should see a booster catch, and then an orbit, a couple orbits, and then a simulated booster or ship catch in the Gulf. In other words, fly it to a pinpoint spot in the Gulf, and then Flight 8 is where we would actually see some kind of catch. And it would not surprise me one little bit for SpaceX to go with a booster and a ship catch. So a booster catch would be the third booster catch. If they do it on 7, 8th would be the third booster catch. Move the booster out of the way and bring in for the first ship catch. As long as the tower isn't damaged during the booster catch, it really shouldn't affect anything to go ahead and catch the booster, get it out of the way, and reset everything back to where it's supposed to be. So I think that would be, I could totally see them doing that on the first attempt. All right, let me just check in SpaceX here and see if we still don't have a feed. Let me go. Tell you what, y'all can just see what I'm seeing. All right, looking for SpaceX's feed. Let's go to... it used to be that you would just go to the launches. It would show you what the next Starlink, the next launch was. And you click right here and it would say watch. And when you clicked on watch, it would take you to the X feed. And the past couple of weeks, they have stopped doing that to where they're not sending you from their website to the feed. You physically have to go to their X site and basically wait. So they're going to start, it's supposed to launch at 11:25. They're going to start their feed at 11:20. So I basically have to sit here on their X post, on their X account, and refresh it until they go live. It's a pain in the butt. I really wish they would find a better way to do that than the way they've got it going. So one thing I need to look at. Let's go to Rocket Lab. So Rocket Lab had a launch about 2 hours ago. It was a test launch for their Leidos rocket, and they did not televise it or stream any coverage of it or anything. It was suborbital. They were testing out their Leidos rocket, and I wanted to stream that. I really did, but I could not find any feed for it. It was not even on their website. It was just in the nextspaceflight.com that it was a listed launch. And I like Rocket Lab. They are doing some amazing things with some smaller rockets. They're a very open company. They're 3D printing their rockets, which is amazing. And for mini satellites and small customers like that, things like satellite technology does not need to be locked behind billion-dollar companies. And what Rocket Lab is doing with their rockets and making it very cheap to get a small satellite into orbit, I'm really excited about what they're doing and what their kind of the direction their company is headed. Where are we at? 11:18. So we got a couple minutes. Let's look at who's up next. All right, so next space flight, we have the Rocket Lab launch tomorrow evening, which I'll be live streaming. That is at 9 o'clock, I believe, Central. 10:50. Oh, it's been moved a little bit. 10:50 tomorrow evening. I'll be live streaming that. Their live streams are always really good. They're hosted and they always have really good production value and everything else. Then after that, at 11:25, those two might coincide. I might have to put both of those in one stream, but we'll have another Falcon 9 launch. Then the Chinese Space Organization does not send out feeds to anybody for theirs, so we won't be seeing that one. Wait a second. No, I'm wrong. This is the test launch that I have not been able to find any feed for, and it actually is going to happen. They've moved it. It was 9 p.m. tonight. They've moved it to 10:50. And again, it's not on their, we just went to their website. It's not on their website. They're just not, I guess because it's a test launch, they're just not going to stream any part of it. Tomorrow night at 9:55 is the Ace Baby, which Rocket Lab always has the greatest names for their launches. But we will be streaming that. That's tomorrow evening, 9:55. Their coverage will probably start 20 minutes early. I'm guessing 20 or 30 minutes early, so probably about 9:20, somewhere around in there. We'll just have their hosted coverage. Like I said before, they always do an amazing job. Tonight, this is the one that we're looking at now, is still 11:25, and then tomorrow, the 25th, that's Monday, 3:35 a.m. Good Lord, they're killing me. 3:35 a.m. Central. We'll have a SpaceX Falcon launch, then another one at 9:31. So we'll have one at 3:30 in the morning and one at 9:30 at night. Oh, y'all are killing me, SpaceX. This landscape I know nothing about. It's coming out of China, so they wouldn't send a feed anyway. We got another Soyuz launch coming out of Roscosmos in a couple days. Let's see, it's 21. Let's see if SpaceX has a feed yet. 6 last flight. They still don't show to be live. That is so weird. This is what I go through to get these feeds. It's still learn more. It's still not showing a watch. 7:26 p.m. Well, we'll just keep checking. I don't see anything that says they've begun prop load or anything. Usually they tweet out when they start prop loading, and they haven't done that. But SpaceX itself still says it's on. That's an if needed. Okay, so still November 23rd at 7:26, which would be 11:26 here. So we should have a feed. Still nothing. official live stream still goes to the learn more. Still 11:25 p.m. All I can do is just keep trying to pull them up. Oh no. Got the 6th flight test up there, but I still have nothing. Nothing for a launch. And it's coming up on about time for launch. So, I mean, is this going to be one that I just don't have a feed for? Goodness gracious. Oh, I have 3 viewers. Hi, everybody. Well, we're trying to pull a feed for this, and I am not having much luck with SpaceX. Normally, these things are posted a lot in advance, and this one, they have not had anything on their account. They don't have anything on their X account, and when you go to their actual website, it just goes to the learn more. But next space flight is saying that it's still scheduled for 11:25. So just gonna do the math on this real quick and make sure I'm 11. Nope, I'm on the PST, so that should be 7. Interesting. I have a 4-hour window. Says a 4-hour window that opens at 7:26 p.m. But then still no feed from them whatsoever. Well, and it is, as far as NASA spaceflight says, it is time for the launch. Or next spaceflight, I should say. Still says 11:25 on the 23rd. So this would be the first Falcon, just Starlink, that I've seen that they haven't just launched or haven't had any feed for. So, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a few more minutes for them to maybe put out something. I'm going to take a little breather real quick just for a second. And then give them about 3 or 4 minutes. And then if they still haven't put anything out, I'll just end the live stream. And if they do put something out, I'll start it right back up. I can start the same live stream right back up. So I'm going to exit for just a second and get some water and see if I can't find something on my phone, and I'll be right back in about 3 minutes.
Stage separation confirmed. Vandenberg ignition.
As soon as I step out, they tweet out, "Hey, come watch the rocket launch," and it's halfway through it. So they obviously something happened with their stream, where they didn't start it until it was halfway through the launch, which sucks. So sorry about that.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We at least get to catch the end of it. And the booster's still at altitude, so we at least get to see the booster land. Nope, not that one. Sorry, clicked the wrong button. This is one of my, when they do flights from Vandenberg, it is one of my favorite because in the booster feed, as the booster comes down, you can see the lights from the coast down below, and it just looks amazing. That's a first for me. I've been live streaming these Starlink launches, most all of them, for about 3 months now. Tons and tons of them. And that's the first time they have not put up a stream, or at least, not started broadcasting the stream until after liftoff. And getting ready for the entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Look at that speed peel off of there. You figure it's going to bleed, 4,000 kilometers an hour?
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
Yeah, a little less than that. Today, she will be landing on Of Course I Still Love You. Drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. One of my favorites.
Stage 1 FTS has saved. Stage 1 transonic.
Transonic. If you're unfamiliar with
Stage 2
transonic,
FTS is saved.
that means that there are parts of the ship that are going faster than the speed of sound, the booster, excuse me. There are parts of the booster that are going faster than the speed of sound. There are parts of it that aren't. And that can be really crazy sounding. Like, how could parts of the booster be going faster than other parts when it's one solid object? Well, it's not necessarily the parts of it. It's the air that is going over parts of it.
Stage 2 terminal guidance.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
And it looks like we have a good landing. So back to what I was saying. So if you can imagine an airfoil, the wing of an airplane is curved on the top, flat on the bottom. That causes the air on the top to go over the wing slower than the air on the bottom, which creates a low pressure point above the wing, which causes lift. It's the same principle when we're talking about transonic. There are parts of the booster, due to their shape, the nature of their shape, and how they're aligned on the booster, that when air flows over them, some of it will rush and be faster than the speed of sound, while other parts will be slower than the speed of sound. So that's what transonic means. I know it can sound weird when you're saying, transonic means parts going faster than the speed of sound and parts not. But and then we get the buffering wheel of death. That is a weird stream tonight. I'm going to go ahead and... That was nominal orbit insertion, which means they're shutting down the stream anyway. But that was a weird one this evening. That's the first time I've had them. That was kind of a jumbled stream, where they didn't even start the live stream until after liftoff, almost like it was an afterthought. But all right, so tomorrow evening, let's go back over real quick before we get out of here. Real quick before we get out of here, let's look at tomorrow. Rocket Lab at 9:55 p.m. Central, and we'll be streaming that. Like I said, their coverage will probably go live 30 minutes beforehand. Usually it's like 30 to 20 minutes beforehand. So it's hosted coverage, and they do an excellent job. It's excellent production and everything else. They do a really good job. So we'll start streaming right as they go on, maybe a minute or two before. And then 3:35 a.m. on Monday, Lordy, we've got another Falcon 9 launch, and then another one at 9 o'clock that night. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to me rant for about 30 minutes. And thanks for putting up with this weird SpaceX stream. I've never seen them do that before. Usually they post the stream 10 or 20 minutes beforehand, and we're able to dock to it and pull the feed. And tonight was different. So, and I kind of had to ramble on the fly, but I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, please. I'd sure appreciate it. And hit the bell. If you turn on notifications, you'll know 30 minutes before we go live, so you never have to worry about checking to see when the next launch is. You'll have the bell. It'll notify you 30 minutes beforehand, and you can come watch. But I appreciate it. We will talk to you again soon.